सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। शांति शांति। We'll continue our journey with Mundaka Upanishad. Today it's going to be the sixth verse of the first khand of first Mundaka. यतद्दृश्यमग्राह्यमगोत्रमवर्णमचक्षुः श्रोत्रं तदपाणिपादं नित्यं विभुं सर्वगतं सुसूक्ष्मं तदव्ययं यदत्योनिं परिपश्यन्ति धीराः. The translation is that which is invisible, not graspable, without lineage, colorless, without sight and hearing, without hands and feet, eternal, all pervading, extremely subtle, that unchanging one who is at the core of all beings is visible to the wise. Now, here all these characteristics are of God or Paramatma or Parabrahma that resides in every iota of this universe, including Chaitanya, meaning uh, things or matter like us, Jiva, and Jada, which is all the apara prakriti or apara type matter in the world. Even though they don't have soul, they don't have atma. I'm talking about a stand, like this stand standing here. It is made up of metal. Those metal particles, definitely, it has the energy activity, it has the interactions at the cellular, I mean, the atomic level. So all these actions are happening in this stand. It does not have Atma because the Atma is gone. If we look at mountains, the stand is made up of metal. Those metal particles must have come from some quarry or some mountain. So when that mountain, even if that mountain still exists, if it is in its almost purest form, we can consider that as a living entity. In our Shastras, uh, some 150 years ago, people did not believe in West that plants can have life. Sri Jagdish Chandra Bose showed with experiments, and then they started believing. But we always believed that plants have life. Similarly, all the rivers, all the particular land mass or mountains, they also have life. They are also living entity for us, and they have their own life cycle. So do planets. Planets also have their life cycle. We also consider them a living entity, like sun. We can obviously feel that sun has some entity, some characteristics of a living being. Our earth might not have, or we may not feel it that way, but earth is also a life form. Not something that we can comprehend, but at least uh, our Shastras say that. And that's how Jyotish. Last time we covered the verse which included this word Jyotish. So Jyotish came from that concept that every body in this universe, they have their own life, and there is life cycle associated with that, and how they interact with us. So modern science also proves that everything is interconnected. The way we may not understand, but we can prove at certain level that yes, everything is interconnected. And from that, this notion came that whether we do is part of some simulation, or there are many theories. Nobody can prove that yet. But Jyotish Shastra is composed based on uh, that experience, I would say, because the Rishis, especially Bharadwaj Rishi and Parashar Rishi, they experience those bodies, those entities in the those are celestial bodies. They interact with us at some certain level. They are interconnected with us. They are part of the same solar system as we are. So they are affecting us. And how? So that is the experience of those rishis, and they formed Jyotish Shastra. We can, refute anything that we do not understand. It does not mean it is wrong. We may not understand it that way, but there is some truth behind it. But we stopped exploring, considering that being, untruthful. So I think at least we should start understanding it in a different manner. We must not discard anything, not at least at the face value. We should introspect in ourselves and then inspect any claim made by our Shastras. So here, these are the characteristics of Parabrahma, Paramatma, that resides in every Atma. It cannot be comprehended, but by wise, wise meaning, the word used here is dhiraha. Now, dhiraha is two meanings. One, who is intellectually very upward or inward, and one more meaning is one with perseverance. So, if you are on a path of sadhana, we must not give up, keep working until we realize the final truth. Till then, no matter whatever happens, our sadhana, our journey must continue. And for that, this word dhiraha is appropriate, because who is, see, there are many different stages of sadhana. People get different siddhis, and because of those siddhis, many stop. They think, oh, I achieved something, this is the success, now stop here. And they are kind of lost because they did not reach Parabrahma or Paramatma. So the word dhiraha, meaning be mindful, persistent in your effort, and until and unless you have that realization of Parabrahma or Paramatma, keep working. And for those persons, those people, it becomes visible. Visible meaning experiential. Seventh verse. यथोर्णनाभिः सृजते गृह्णते च यथा पृथिव्यामोषधयः सम्भवन्ति यथा सतः पुरुषात् केशलोमानि तथा अक्षरात् सम्भवतीह विश्वम्. As a spider creates and absorbs back into its navel, as plants grow on earth, as hair grows on the body, thus the universe originates from that imperishable one, or Akshara, or Avyaya. So Parabrahma, Paramatma is Akshara, which cannot have Sharana, meaning it cannot be Sharana, meaning shading anything that is acquired, like any matter. Over the time, they lose their particles, they lose their the layers, so to speak. But God or Parabrahma or Paramatma is such that uh, does not lose anything, and it's eternal, and that's why this word Akshara is used. So God is like center of everything. From that center, like a spider which creates a web, uh, God has created this universe, and everything is attached to that navel where it resides. Now, if we look at our galaxy, isn't it like that? There is a center. The center is very active, or can be dormant, but right now it's active. There is a giant, at least one black hole, and it is kind of uh, at the center of this galaxy, which is a vortex in nature, right? So everything falls below that region, or we can say it governs all the activities happening in the galaxy. Similarly, we have this concept of Padmanabha. So Vishnu, Seshashai, when Vishnu resides in a Kshir Sagar and covered by Sheshanaga, and Sheshashai is also the word used. like that bed or that uh, the asana is made up of Sheshanaga. And while sitting Vishnu, from its navel, uh, a lotus sprung, and from that lotus, Brahmaji, uh, he he kind of came out of that lotus and created this whole world. So again, there is a word Urnu Navi also used for Vishnu because from his Navi everything is created. And similar example is here, like a spider. It creates the web sitting in the center. Everything comes out of that spider. The web is created from the rasa, the juice coming out of the spider, and that whole world is kind of controlled. God is Niyanta, controller of everything, like spider. Whatever happens in that web is in the realm of that spider. So that's how this world has sprung and is operates, governs. So center is God.
Can you ask a question?
Yeah, of course, anytime. Yes.
So few questions.
Yeah, yeah.
I was unsure because
No, no, that's fine. That's fine.
so you said God created the universe. Is
Right,
that an assumption? Because our Granth have different interpretations.
right. If you look at this, the word used is Urnanavi. So spider, the web comes out of the spider. It's its nature, Prakriti. That's how this word is created. So it comes from uh, God or Parabrahma or Paramatma. Now, if you look at Yoga Vasishtha says this universe is dream of Parabrahma, Paramatma. It resides in that sankalpa within his mind. If we look at Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says uh, everything is like Sutre Manigana Eva. Everything is created from my Prakriti. My Prakriti or my Maya, it's the reason or cause for all this Apara Prakriti and Para Prakriti. And it's like attached to me like all the monies, the stones or diamond or anything via a thread. So I am that thread and everything is within me. But I mean, everything is within me. I am in everything.
If you look at Sankhya,
Thank you.
the
Right.
oldest philosophy,
Right.
it says that uh, Purush
Purush and Prakriti.
and Prakriti,
Right.
when they meet, creation happens. When they separate, it stops. Then they
Right.
meet, and it's been doing for perpetual.
Correct.
There's no actual creation, no destruction. It's just
It's
always
just
was
a
there,
state.
always will be.
It's a change of the state.
Right. It's always
Right.
there, always.
Right. Now, Atharva Shira Upanishad is very close to that. It extended that concept and said that Ishana, Shiva, when Shiva was just one, and that Sankalpa came into him, then he became two, and that became Purusha and Prakriti. And so it goes through this cycle of changing the state. One state we can say it's created, right? The other state is it got destroyed.
I mean, the Shiv in the Atharvaved, my understanding was.
Right. No, this is Atharva Shira Upanishad. Right. Right. So
because if you look at the Rig Veda, right, 120 and all, right,
right.
Which is, if you look at the Purush Sukta or Nasdya Sukta,
Right.
they beautifully describe the creation.
Correct.
At certain point, they said we don't know.
Right. Of course.
What is Abhihanda?
Right.
They said everything is Param Tattva. Param Tattva, everything happens like a vessel.
Right.
And what was before that, we don't know. We cannot know. There's a bodily limitation.
Correct. So Rigveda stops there, but many of the Upanishads they do not stop there.
But Upanishad, a sense of that. But yeah.
Right. But we cannot say that they have the same concept as Vedas. They came from the Vedas, but they are not exact word to word extraction of Vedas. Right. So this Atharva Shira Upanishad, other is Narada Parivrajaka Upanishad. That also has some concept like that. That it comes from Shiva, Prakriti, and all that. Uh, Bhagavad Gita which is kind of essence of all the Upanishads, at least the major Upanishads, talks about this. Apara Prakriti, Para Prakriti. And that's what we covered last week. Even Mundaka Upanishad talks about that there is two division of the Prakriti, Apara and Para, that all comes from Maya of Sri Krishna, according to Bhagavad Gita, and goes through this cycle of Pralaya Prabhava. So that is, so to speak, changing the state, but for us, for our purpose, it's creation and destruction.
So there is one concept in physics. Is the second law of thermodynamics. Entropy
always increases. Right. Right.
So entropy is always increasing, right? It should be very cold universe, like nothing.
Right.
But what this phrase is saying that like the hair grows without us putting any effort, or the,
right.
All of this web comes out of the navel of one spider.
Right.
Right. Similarly, it's saying that creation is getting created without anyone looking and without without
there is a
physics.
No intervention. There is no intervention.
Yeah, there is no intervention.
Right.
So that's where probably the Maya concept comes
So that's
from.
what Prakriti is. Prakriti is what happens naturally, right? In English, that's what we say. Yeah. What happens naturally.
I think what you're saying is Karya Karika Siddhant. So maybe a seed, right, has the whole capability to turn into a tree, right? But if you go back how it's happening, that seed comes from some other tree. It's like, what is the reason behind it? Spider has, so I think that's how, if you go deep in the philosophy, that's what it all end up to, what was beyond that. Right, who made the natural...
Where the first seed comes from.
And it's an endless debate, right? Right. But the natural tendency is for the seed to not germinate. The natural tendency no, it depends on the environment.
To be, no, but naturally it does not.
Naturally it doesn't.
Right.
So, you can't expect, just a tree to pop up right here, right?
Correct.
But it does. So that's what it's saying,
so there is Prakriti and its interaction that creates this. See, we believe in Advaita, Vishishta Advaita, or Dvaita. Whatever path or philosophy we take, ultimately, we have to start with somewhere.
Yeah, I feel it's like different paths to go to the Himalayas, but everyone will reach at some time.
Sometime, right.
Some will late.
Correct.
But when you say Shiv,
right,
or Shiva,
right,
you mentioned, what do you mean by that?
Well,
to me, Shiva is that conscious state, pure consciousness state when I connect to the totality. What everyone connects to. Shuddha Chaitanya.
Shuddha Chaitanya. Shiva. But that is still within the realm of Para and Apara Prakriti. Okay. I mean, if we go by this Mundaka Upanishad, so what is beyond that? Parabrahma or Paramatma, it's beyond state. It is stateless.
But do you call that a Sakar Brahma? That state
of No, that's Parabrahma. And it does not have any Akar. No characteristics.
So you're calling Shiva as Parabrahma?
Right, yes. Okay. Yes. Now, call it Sri Krishna if we follow Bhagavad Gita. If you follow Purana, it could be Adya Shakti. So which Purana you follow, which path you follow, the name is different, but ultimately it's Parabrahma or Paramatma. And Atharva Shira Upanishad, that's why I use that word Shiva, because for that Upanishad, Shiva is the one. For Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna is the one. For Devi Bhagavat, Adya Shakti is the one. And for Mundaka Upanishad, in this context, it's Parabrahma, Paramatma. Number 8, verse number 8. Tapasa chiyate brahma, tato annam abhijayate, annat prano manah satyam, lokah karmasu chamrutam. Translation: with deep austerities or tapa, the Brahma expands, and from that primordial matter is produced. From that matter comes prana, the mind, the existence, the words and actions, and amrita. So here the word tapa, tapa in general sense, whatever our daily actions are, if we stop doing that deliberately or willfully, whatever that generates within our body or mind, that's we call tapa. So again, for our discussion, Parabrahma or Paramatma, it does not have any action, does not have any activity. But at one point, the Sankalpa was created, and that Sankalpa is the word Tapa here. Because from that Tapa, which was something deliberate, something willful, out of whatever the previous state was. And because of that Tapa, now Tapa, we can say Tapa is also related to Ushma or energy or heat. So, in a way, if we look at modern theories of science or other Upanishads, other belief systems, first it was nothing, and from nothing, something was created, and that created was with word, that Shabda, and from that Shabda, uh, sound was created from sound, the light was created from the light, the locus, and with various actions and various types of Prakriti and Jivas. So here it says that from Tapa, the Brahma expanded. So originally it was Brahma. Brahma was maybe confined, maybe eternal, but the word here is Brahma. From Tapa, Brahma expanded. That's what, that is the word they use.
Brahma
So
is matter.
right, or that state which is different from Parabrahma, because Parabrahma, it doesn't have any actions, it doesn't have anything. No, let's share.
Yeah, so I feel like so all this, right? So the Parabram is
Right.
your supreme consciousness.
Supreme.
Right? We are all like bubbles.
But
right?
that is beyond consciousness. That is
I
not
mean,
consciousness.
that depends. It might be Atushakti,
Right.
right? And people put Alankar and all those things.
Correct.
It's different.
Correct.
I'm saying the totality of the complete. So we are all Atma, our Atmas,
Right.
together. When we feel, okay, we are everything.
Right.
Everything is one. When we realize we're the drop of the ocean, we are the full ocean. That is that state, or that whole thing is called Param.
Right.
Okay. So Krishna, when giving that lecture to Arjun, right, that
Right.
time he felt that totality, and when he said that, he was not Krishna, he was
Right.
Parabrahma,
Parabrahma.
Sakar Brahma, whatever
Right.
you want to say. People call anyone who says that in the body is Sakar
It's
Brahma.
Sakar, right?
So that without bodiless form, that is Parabrahma.
Correct.
So yeah.
Awesome.
So what I feel is right, the Param Tattva, or when the pure consciousness comes in touch with an energy or a capability,
Right.
which is your Shakti
Right.
or
Prakriti, right.
whatever you want to call it. This is Shiv, this is Shakti,
Right.
or Supreme Consciousness. When it comes to the
Right.
energy or capability, that capability when it dance around it, which is our Ardhanareshwari form, whatever you want to say,
Right.
that is the time that super consciousness try to find, okay, what all I can do. And
Right.
that's the time they create the matter together
Right.
with the help of space. And kind of space, I feel like is what we always been saying Vishnu, which is everywhere.
Right.
Right? So energy becomes Mata,
Or
Vishnu
gravity,
space.
or electromagnetic, right?
And
That is also everywhere.
right, and matter is more like Brahmaji. What we
Right.
say.
Right.
So with the space, energy, and the consciousness
Right.
together, we create a matter which is Brahma.
Right.
And that's how it goes. That's what
Sure.
I feel.
I mean,
that's
it's
my way of interpreting.
exactly, exactly. I mean, we all interpret it differently, right? So, if we look at this, I mean, Mundaka Upanishad, Brahma expanded. So that expansion itself is not the characteristic of what they talked about as Parabrahma or Paramatma. So Brahma expanded, and from that, the primordial matter. So that is the first thing that is created out of Brahma, and that is the first thing for us in this universe. And from that comes prana. Now, for us, prana is also kind of associated with life, our life breath, life. So that prana comes from that primordial matter. So that is also within the universe. That is also in the realm of the universe. And from that prana, mind, the mind is, well, we cannot assume or we cannot guess mind without body, a particular body. So what is this mind? So we can say in that time, very early universe, or the first matter that comes out of Brahma, in that particular moment, in that particular space, whatever was existed is the universal mind, which ultimately drives the next steps and this whole world or the creation. And from that mind, now here the word used is Satya. Now Satya, we can interpret it as truth, but what is truth? The existence. The existence of this universe is what the truth is. So Satya in this context is the existence, whatever we see around us.
This is Sat or Satya?
Satya. Satya. And from that, the existence, whatever that existed, maybe subatomic particles, whatever, or energy. From that comes the worlds, the lokaha, meaning various uh, matter or solid, liquid, or air or gaseous type of bodies that form from that. And from that, all the actions, meaning the interactions of various matter and energy. So these are the steps from nothing to everything. Ninth verse. यह सर्वज्ञः सर्वविद्यस्य ज्ञानमयं तपः तस्मादेतद् ब्रह्म नाम रूपमन्नं च जायते. Translation: who is all pervading and all knowing, whose austerities are imbued with higher knowledge, from him are born Brahma, names, forms, and matter. So everything is being pervaded, is known to some entity, that entity whose tapa, whose austerities created this world. And this world of what? Brahma, Nama, Rupa, and Anna. So everything we know, everything we can interact with, everything we can know of, that comes from that Parabrahma, Paramatma. So here it's clear distinction. I mean, for our discussion, Brahma and Parabrahma, they are two different entities. Per Mundaka Upanishad. Now, all pervading, that word also used by Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, that I am Sutre Mani Gana Iva. So I am like pervading everything, everything that is created in this universe. And iti Mundakopanishad iti Prathama Mundake Prathamaha Khande. So first Mundaka, second Khanda now. First verse. तदेतत् सत्यं मंत्रेषु कर्माणि कवयो यान्यपश्यंस्तानि त्रेतायां बहुधा संततानि तान्याचरथ नियतं सत्यकामा एष वह पंथः सुकृतस्य लोके. This is Satya or truth, the mantras related to rightful actions which Kavi or Jnani or the knowers say were observed greatly in the Treta Yuga. Follow those always, O lovers of truth, those indeed are the paths to the worlds of virtuous deeds. Now, here it's clearly said that Treta Yuga is when these things are observed. So we can assume that this Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, which is based on Atharva Veda, must have been formed in the Treta Yuga. So it's the time of Prabhu Sri Ramchandra or even beyond him, maybe Parshurama for sure, and maybe Vamana. So during that time frame, this must have been composed. In Vedas, the stories of Vamana is found at many places. But they don't talk about Parshurama. They don't talk about Rama. That means the Rigveda or the other Vedas must have been formed at after Vamana, meaning that avatar. If you follow the Avataravad, so whatever the time frame is when all these have been composed. And Mundaka Upanishad is part of that. And that's why this Treta Yuga, that word is used here. So all these mantras, the mantras related to rightful deeds. Now, according to Vedas, there are two types of karmas. One associated with yajna, meaning whatever we do. There are yajnas not only with the fire ceremony. Right? There are yajnas, whatever we do in our daily life, that can also be considered yajnas. Whatever our kartavya karma, whatever our duties, like as a father, what is my duty, as daughter or son, what is my duty, as a teacher, what is my duty, as a king, a raja, what is my duty. So all these are kartavya karmas. Those karmas are also yajnas. Now, uh, we talk about Rushi Runa, Deva Runa, Pitru Runa, those various types of runas. And whatever we do to eradicate those runas, they are also yajnas. Whatever is happening in this world, like the sun, there are sunlight, sun rays coming, reaching us. So that is also one type of yajna. So every interaction that is happening across this universe with multiple bodies or matter or energy, that is also yajna, universal yajna. So all these yajnas are rightful deeds, and there are mantras associated with those. So some people say that Rigveda is all mantras, not only verses, but there are some katha or varta in Rigveda mantras also. So we can say not all verses are mantras in Rigveda, but majority of those verses are mantras. And mantras are related to various things in this universe, not only a particular deva, Agni Deva or Vayu Deva or Yama or any. There is also uh, any item that is used in Homam, like uh, columns, like a piece of wood, asana. So everything is considered deva, and there are mantras for those. So you need to invoke those mantras first, invoke those devas using those mantras first, and do the rituals. Is also a notion in many of the sutras. Even Mrutatma, there are currently it's Pitru Paksh, right, going on. So there are suktas attributed to Pitrus and Mrutatma, meaning when they perform Agni Sanskara. So everything is connected in this universe, and everything must we invoke devas, or I would say it invoking deva meaning invoking Brahma that is pervading them using those mantras like unlocking. First, we must unlock them and do the work, do the actions, do the deed. So deva, one who performs a particular action or one who interacts between two entities. So if there is Agni Deva, so Agni Deva, that particular state which is Agni. Now Agni, once it invokes, has particular characteristics, and it has action of whatever is Ahuti given to Agni, taking to other gods. So next, if we consider Vayudeva, from Agni, whatever Ahuti is given, that reaches Vayu. Now what Vayu does? As a Dev, the Vayudeva duty is to spread it across a bigger region and create Parjanya, maybe Varsha or rain. So all these are different states, different actions, and every action or state, it is assumed that comes from some entity, and when it is generalized becomes Deva. We can call Prithvi as Deva because Prithvi is solid matter. Its characteristics is to dharyate everything. So that becomes Deva. Us, when we become Pita or Mata, I mean, we have that Pitru Devo Bhava, Matru Devo Bhava, that type of notion, right? Atithi Devo Bhava. So everything that interacts with us and takes us upward or uplift, that is Deva from our end. Because without those actions or without those notions, we are just humans, like animals. When we uplift ourselves with using certain action, entity, whether matter or energy or process, that is the step taken to become Deva.
To keep it interactive. And I
Right.
don't know if I'm joining first time.
Yeah.
How I believe in just for the whole
Right, right.
right. My understanding of Devta definition in my head is someone whose property always is to give and don't expect anything in return. To us, that is Devta.
Right.
So Surya will give us Roshni or Ushma, and
Right.
will give that. Wood will give all that thing. Same is. So if you become something which I, as a human, what we generally have this tendency. Okay, if I'm giving something, let me take something in return. So we
Right.
don't qualify for that.
Correct.
But some human who are only okay, I
Givers,
offer
offers.
the givers
Right.
without they expect anything in return is there.
Right. No, very beautiful definition. But I would counter argue that.
Okay.
Because if you look at Agni, fire, without offering Ahuti, that Agni cannot sustain, cannot perform its duty. Jala, if we look at Mahasagar, Nadi, Varsha, Parjanya, that cycle, without that inflow, that cannot work or cannot give others whatever is meant for it. So there is always interaction. Devta, in my mind, is some that particular entity takes something, sublimes, or makes it upward. Upward not meaning going up in our directional sense, but making it more uplifted in spiritual sense, and then giving.
That is also comparable.
Yes.
Because a lot of people do the low level entity tantra,
Right.
Vigyan Bhairav Tantra and all, has nothing to do with spiritual upliftment. They just want it for monetary benefit and they do all sort of yajna,
Right.
yajna, ahuti and all.
Correct. So they are Nimna Koti Devtas.
They are not devtas.
Well,
I mean, they're not givers. They those entities take something back.
right. Well,
I mean that's fine. We'll take
we can keep continuing, but these are different definitions or different perspectives, I would say.
But doesn't it, like in Hinduism, many times they say, okay, devtas don't like it when they put things on earth which do not pray back to them, or they do not offer something back to them. That's why they changed.
That's why
Mayan relics had that
right.
kind of.
Example.
Like the Popol Vuh, right? They have the story where initially they created men of wood. Popol Vuh, which is like the as the Mayan concept, right? So their story, yeah. So their story says like initially they created men out of wood and mud, right? But they were not praying back, or they didn't know how to say how to pray back, right? So till they created humans who were praying back to them. And there's a back and forth, right? So the devtas in general, right? Whether it is in Hinduism or other Sanatana Dharma, they expect you to pray back to them or expect you to offer something to them. That would probably is kind of like a fundamental.
I feel that's a misconception because of older civilization. They were very sensitive. If the lightning happens, they thought, okay, maybe Indra is angry because it happened here, right? And that's how they correlate.
But I have to say, as humans, we wouldn't be here if devas weren't here, if our forefathers weren't here. These are if the grahas, these all things affect us. That's why we are here. So I think I see it as these are debts that you pay.
That's why they say Rena.
Or
Devaruna.
Right.
Right.
They affect you, so you have to. Yeah.
Right. So it's like everything is connected. You have to give sublime, upward, uplift, and outward.
Just so, to answer, right? So even if tomorrow we don't say Vayu Devta, right? You cuss at them. You do any bad thing about them. I don't like Vayu and all. That doesn't mean you stop breathing. They'll still treat you as it doesn't matter. We go out of respect and say that okay, water is important to us, so we are giving the respect to it. Doesn't mean if you stop giving the respect, you cannot drink water, or water will not come to your body. Or same with Agni.
Of course.
They don't treat based on your how you interact with them and all. Their offer is I'm giving it to you, and we out of respect do that. Sorry.
But no, that's fine. That's fine. I think this is meant for the discussion, right?
That is there, so, but it's many stories. They say it's a concern. Stop offering them, then it is a concern.
Stories, even if you look at the Puranas, right? Purana stories are telling you as a humans everything. Sure. Like even Chandra. There's a prince called Chandra. If you look at one of the Purana,
right?
It has 24 wives.
27.
Right. And one of the wife he spends 1.5 night. Everything else is one. So basically, it's not telling a human who's that. It's actually more.
Rohini Nakshatra.
Right. And that's the last Nakshatra. Rohini.
Right.
I mean, you don't have to take it literally that there are humans and all those devtas sitting there. Those were elements which were helpful to bring us up. That's what I feel.
But see, this is modern.
There's a subtext everywhere.
Right.
That they are expecting us to pray to them and offer something to them.
Actually, all
the initial point was they don't expect.
Even if you don't do that, right? I'm saying that thing will still work.
Yeah.
Lightning will still happen, water will still happen, everything will happen. Try to counter that yourself and see.
But all our rituals we do offer.
We do offer.
Yes.
Because we consider it bigger.
Right. It's like a father, like you're saying, right? Father or mother, they become like a devi or devta.
Right.
Because even if son doesn't give anything back to the mother is not gonna be angry at it. Okay, let me take a revenge.
I think that can go into fear. Some cultures have feel that fear of it given to you.
It's not a fear from us, right?
Not for Hinduism, it's not fear. It's more of a runa, meaning if you are getting something, pay back. Right. So in Puranas, in Vedas, the devas were beneficiary of all the Vedas. All the yajnas, yajna karmas. Whatever happened, that offering, that ahuti, everything was for devas. Because they believed that after these rituals, those devas get nourishment, soma. They get soma. They become viryavan, and they can fight and help us better.
That's again Purana.
No, this is Vedas. This is Rigveda.
Rigveda, there's no concept.
I can show you the words.
I think you're talking about Agni and
and
Indra. And
even Yama, Soma.
I'm saying not the devta which you're expecting as a body.
Right. So they get nourishment, and those things became more of a selfish gods and goddesses in Puranas.
Even if you look at Rigveda, I'm sure you have read it too. I have read it multiple times, right? How the story begins for those who are not read, right? It goes in a very old way of how we were. Right. And slowly it progresses to the modern way. That tells me Rigveda was not written in one go, but over the years and centuries and thousands of years, it was written over how it progresses.
Right. At least from first sutta, I say it's more than 14,000 years to 7,000 years. It's what.
It could be even older. Some people.
Correct. Because they talk about prachin mantras and all that.
What you're saying is the oldest, like saying the oldest civilization might get feared if something happened or why it happened.
Correct.
What's the reason which we don't understand?
Right. Very true. But this is certainly about Treta Yuga. So we still have time. Second verse. Yada le layate yarchihi samidde havyavahane tada ajya bhagavanta rena ahutihi pratipadayat shraddhayahutam. When the sacrificial fire is lit and the flame begins to expand, then offer with faith oblations of melted ghee deep inside the fire. Now this is a typical yajna. This is how we do yajnas. So when that fire is lit, Now, the fire could be, as I said, there can be many different type of yajnas. Even what we are doing right now can also be considered a yajna. And we offer, I mean, we first fire the light the fire, meaning create a desire. I mean, we are here to discuss Upanishads. We are here to understand or expand our knowledge. So that is a fire that is lit within us. And then we offer ghee with faith. Ghee meaning just try to increase that desire. Be mindful, be approachable to these concepts, and expand that fire so that we can curiosity, right? So that we can understand, we can try to understand this and expand our yajna. So any type of yajna we can correlate with this, that first fire is lit and then everything is offered, ghee or ahuti, with proper faith and devotion, so that we can imbibe whatever comes out of it properly. Because if there is no faith, we just discard everything, right? And at least first thing is to accept at the face value, and then kind of the fire burns everything. The desire, that curiosity, or that idea or thought will uh, will ignite a different type of fire within us, and that is the notion. Third verse: यस्याग्निहोत्रम दर्शम पौर्ण मासम चातुर्मास्य मनाग्रयण मतिथि वर्जितम च अहुतम वैश्वदेव मविधना हुतमा सप्त मांस्तस्य लोकान हिनस्ति. Translation: when the Agnihotra Yajna is not accompanied by Amasa, the new moon, and Purnima, the full moon sacrifice, by the 4 month sacrifice, the Chaturmasa, and by the Sharada sacrifice, which is harvest, and if it is not attended by guests, if sacrificial ghee is not offered, if the all god sacrifice is not performed or not performed perfectly according to rituals, then the performers punya or sarvaloka are destroyed. So this is kind of the rituals they used to follow in Treta Yuga. Even many of these we still follow. They are talking about, this is in context of Bharatbhumi, Bharatvarsha, the India, that subcontinent, when we have rainy season, at least 3 months or 4 months. So that's considered Chaturmasa, and many people follow Chaturmasa even today. Even living in America, many people follow that. They don't eat certain things, they don't uh, do certain rituals during those Chaturmasa, because in India, back home, it's rainy season. Nothing can be done much in those days. I mean, I'm talking about Treta Yuga, right? So just the farmers, usually majority of the people were farmers or related to, I mean, working with the farms. So they just sow all the crops and they are waiting for harvest during those Chaturmasa. So after Chaturmasa, which is Deepavali, the first festival, which always aligns with Sharad Mas. So these are various rituals or things they used to follow in those times, that do this type of yajna on new moon, do this type of yajna on Purnima, full moon, and invite guests, have all the feast and all that. So this is more of a celebration, how they used to celebrate and how they used to do rituals. I think we can stop here. Yes.
Can clarify my primitive understanding.
Yeah, I mean, any understanding is understanding, no primitive or nothing, right? Yeah.
So the devtas, like we are talking about Agni, even in these two.
Right.
They're more like agents between us and Parabrahma.
Right.
So when you do the yajna, you offer, you do the fire, and the fire burns.
Right.
supposed to then, in metaphorical sense, take our prayers or whatever, whatnot in that form
to other devas and Parabrahma, right?
But then, if we are doing it for Parabrahma, then
Right.
what is Agni? How is Agni taking it to Parabrahma?
Well, in the physical sense, the fire is that fire, right? Uh, with flames and all that. But when you do sadhana, your your object or your objective becomes your fire, because that drives you to do that type of yajna and to reach Parabrahma.
Efforts are like the
Your efforts, yeah, yeah. If you follow Ashtanga Yoga, all the steps are like various components in that yajna. But ultimately, what drives you to achieve that or to do that, that is your fire.
So, Agni as a metaphor, how does it work? If you want to correlate to, so it is supposed to take it to the heavens, but there is nothing like literally heavens. Right?
There is nothing upward, right? Everything is inward, is what we say. So, once you are on that path of sadhana, whatever happens in your mind, whatever happens to your body, you become disease free, you become, all the complexities in the mind, they are gone. So you are kind of in swarga, isn't it? You feel everything good, joyful. So that takes you in that state of swarga. So consider that even studying, right? uh, if you look at our children, they enter into high school, but their goal is to get good grades. So they study hard, they learn very rigorously, and they achieve perfect score. Then that joy is taking them to their swarga. So these are all the processes that help you take a step towards a particular state, so to speak.
And Brahma, to recap what was mentioned, Brahma is created by Vishnu, even in the Purana.
Even in the Purana, yes.
So we can correlate this Brahma with as a metaphor to the Brahma that we know as.
No, that's Brahma. That's Brahma. What is it?
He's talking about Brahm. Brahm and Parabrahma is separate. That's a universal experience.
Right. It's not Brahma. Brahma is different. Brahma is the creator. Adhideva.
But he also came from Vishnu.
Right. In that lotus, Padmanabha.
Right.
Right.
So in that sense, isn't. And then even here you are saying Brahma is a creative energy that then creates the prana comes and all that, right?
That is Brahma. The word used here is Brahma, not Brahma.
Okay.
Brahma is different.
But what they're doing is essentially creation.
It's part of that creation, yes.
So we can't relate the two because they both came from Parabrahma Vishnu.
Right.
They both are creators.
Right.
But it's not the same.
But see,
as a metaphor.
Here's the thing. When Puranas talk about Sakar Brahma, that Sakar Brahma is divided into three entities, which is Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, Mahesha. So Brahma is the creator, Vishnu is the pervader, sustainer, and Shiva is the destroyer. So in that sense, Brahma is just one type of property or characteristic of Brahma, is what we can say. Because Brahma is governed by Rajasic Guna, Rajas Tattva. Vishnu by Sattva, Sattvic Tattva, and Shiva with Tamasic Tattva. So this is still in the realm of Maya, Trigunamai Maya. But what is beyond is Brahma and Parabrahma.
I have a very sort of naive view of this the three ways, right?
Right.
The Trinity, whatever you call it. So it's basically, if you cannot figure it out, right, you can look at like who they are associated with or who they are chasing after. So Brahma is chasing after Saraswati.
Right.
Is the creator. Anyone who is creating is always chasing after the knowledge.
Knowledge,
even
right, right.
You're opposite. People
Correct.
are creative. You're not in the power race, right? They're
Right.
always just creating things,
Right.
they're just like, trying to get it better.
Right.
Right. Shiva, I'll come back to it, but Vishnu is always chasing after Lakshmi.
Lakshmi.
So he's always going after property, right?
Right.
Like all of us, right? We are just chasing
Resources, yes. Correct.
So Vishnu is all of us.
Right.
He's chasing after property. And Shiva is the nature. He doesn't have good or bad. It's like the mountains or the oceans, right? He's everywhere. He's just in nature. He's simple. He doesn't want anything.
Right.
But he also is Ardhanarishwar. So he's after Parvati, who is him and she is her. She is him and he is her.
Right.
They are together because they are the ones creating things.
Correct.
Which, when you are not looking, things are getting created because of this. So,
very true. Yes.
That's my.
Very simplified and very accurate. Yes.
So basically, you look at like, what are the changes?
Right. True. Now, very nicely put. Yes. I'll remember the text
that
of it.
will makes things more clear
Correct,
when you read
correct,
something. Right? Okay,
correct.
Right.
True. Yeah. Very true. Yes. But we can end here. पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः।